there's clearly a rejection of this quote unquote free market obsession, where rather than having any sort of values or principles or commitment to humanity governing your society, you outsource everything to the markets. And what that ends up meaning, of course, in practice is that the rich get richer and richer and everybody else is effectively left behind. And so we see around the world this complete rejection of that paradigm. And in some places that leads to, figures like Donald Trump, figures like Jair Bolsonaro, figures like, events like Brexit. You see this sort of quote unquote populist, right? Although I would dispute the idea that they're really populist, the rise of that energy. But you also see a countervailing force on the left. And, you talked a little bit about my bio. My politics have shifted significantly since I was first running for Congress in the 1st District of Virginia, or even when I was on MSNBC and I was a big, Democratic Party cheerleader. There now is, for the first time in my life, a real grounded critique of the Democratic Party that is sort of shared and becoming increasingly mainstream from the left. So you have these two competing factions, neither of which, certainly the left half of which is not represented in terms of institutions of power, but which is growing in strength and acceptance among a broad part of the public. That's kind of how I see things.
Wow. Okay, following right on that, how do you assess, and it's really your vision that I'm after here, the so-called culture wars that we're having, whether it's around guns or abortion or all those kinds of issues? What relationship, if any, do you see between wars over culture and the old traditional class struggle between rich and poor, between employer and employee and all of that?
Well, I am of the opinion that there is no war but class war. So I see these things all tying in, and it's too easy to say that culture war issues, like you just mentioned, gun rights or abortion or white supremacy, that these are distractions. What I think they are instead is they mask these deeper issues of class and of economics and of distribution. So to explain what I mean, I just recently looked into this with regards to the abortion debate and the imminent end of Roe versus Wade, which I think is really important because I think women should have control over their lives, over their bodies, over their autonomy, over when and how to start a family. But the reason why that debate sort of masks what's really going on is even if pro-choice advocates like myself get what they want, the idea that having, ready access to abortion is going to actually give women autonomy is just not true. And in fact, because we don't have the economic structures in place to support women and have the full range of choices available to them from an institutional and societal perspective. In fact, something like 74% of women who get abortions are poor. So class is the underlying factor here. And, the surface level debate over whether or not you can get an abortion is really masking the deeper problems that are leading women to make that choice to start with. But, abortion is basically split sort of 50-50 down the middle. So it's this great wedge, divisive culture war issue. It's very easy to have an opinionated take on it. It's extremely emotional and raw and sensitive. And it serves the interests of the status quo, because if you were having debate about wages, about unions, about democracy in the workplace, something you talk about, well, those are issues that are like 80-20 and they don't benefit the status quo. So we have to push those off the table. It's much easier for the powers that be to focus on things that are split 50-50 like that, like abortion, which mask deeper level problems.